I mean, really, these things plant themselves. The bulb comes up, it flops over, and it just sends roots down to the ground. They're a very sort of idiot-proof, good beginner plant. Right? If you want to look like you know what you're doing, you want to grow a lot and look the part. Right? These ones always perform well. Hey, it's Greg here with MaritimeGardening.com, and today I'm moving the Egyptian walking onions in this garden bed because I don't need this many. And I thought I would do a video talking about that. First, explain what an Egyptian walking onion is. It's a type of onion that grows, and when it's sort of at the peak of the season, it produces a thing that's kind of like a flower, I guess. Bulbal, I think, is the technical term. Basically, it produces a whole bunch of bulbs like this, right? Basically looks like an onion set. And for all intents and purposes, it is an onion set. It's an Egyptian walking onion set. So one of these can be broken off, right, and planted in the ground. You can plant them in the fall, or you can basically plant them in the spring. But anyway, every single one of these becomes a new Egyptian walking onion plant. So every year, every plant makes about 9 or 10 new plants, and you get more than you need. If you leave them in the ground, like this one here, eventually you get, if I can get this guy out, she's in there. Come on now, should have used a shovel, I guess. If you leave them in the ground for multiple seasons, they get a pretty nice big, almost like a shallot type thing at the bottom that you can harvest in the fall. And all spring and into the summer they produce these lovely scallions that you can use in your salads or your omelet or stir fry or whatever, right? And that's, I mean, the shallot can be used. It's a bit of a pain to peel and clean, but you can use that. For me, the main functionality of the plant is these lovely scallions that are sort of perpetual, and you just have them. You don't have to buy new ones, you don't have to plant them. It's a perennial, it just comes back every year. And it produces a lot of these, so it's great for that. But when I initially planted this, I'm like, wow, I'm just going to only grow this onion. The reality is that they don't store as well, they don't keep as well, and they're a pain to process for cooking. You know, if I have a meal with, let's say, 2 large globe-sized onions, which a lot of my meals either call for 1 or 2 of those, I need like 15 of these. They have a wonderful flavor. It's sort of in between garlic and onion, so it's just an awesome flavor. I'm not saying these aren't good. I love them tossed with cut up potatoes, or, you know, basically you can use, anywhere you'd be using garlic or onions, you can use these. It's a slightly stronger taste than the onion, slightly milder than the garlic. They're wonderful. They're just a bit of a pain to process. I don't feel this bed would be better used as just a globe onion, you know, big fat onion bed, because then I'd harvest them all in the fall, and I could just stick them somewhere cool and use them right up until, you know, January, February sort of thing. I think an onion like that is more functional, it's more practical, it's more versatile. That is to say, if you're going to devote a lot of real estate to it. So it makes more sense for me to have a small garden bed with just some of these in it, and I can use them whenever I need them, and it should be enough. So for me, maybe 4 feet by 3 feet, 1 meter by 1 meter, you know, that sort of size is as big a garden bed as you need, unless you're in love with this sort of thing and you can't get enough of them, or you have a ridiculous amount of your time in your hands to process them. But for me, this is too much real estate to devote to something that is just not as practical and, yeah, just not as practical as a big globe onion. And this is also prime real estate in my garden. This is one of the better spots, very sunny, good soil, all that sort of stuff. So I should be growing eggplant here, or pepper, or tomato, or zucchini, or something like that, right? Something that likes a lot of corn, right? Something that likes a lot of sun and really good soil. This is primo soil. You can see it's just, you know, it's black. It's lovely black earth, right? Everything grows really well here. So it doesn't make sense to grow these here, which will almost grow anywhere. I also have these inside my garden enclosure. I could have them outside the garden enclosure, outside the fence. I don't think the wild animals, the deer, the porcupine, the rabbits, are going to bother with this sort of thing. In my experience, they want nothing to do with onions. It's odd that humans love them, but nothing else seems to like them. Now, that being said, I'm sure someone will comment and say that the deer eat all their onions. But I don't find they bother my onions here where I am on the edge of a wild forest. There's so many more things the deer are used to eating that they prefer compared to something bizarre like this. They leave these alone for me. Anyway, I'm going to dig these out and stick them somewhere else. Let's get her done. All right, so here we are in a bed. This is not an ideal bed in my garden. It gets it gets shade. It's sort of not a high productivity location, but I think these Egyptian walking onions will do just fine here because, in my experience, they're kind of low maintenance. You know, they don't ask for much, right? I mean, really, these things plant themselves. The bulb comes up, it flops over, and it just sends roots down to the ground. They're a very sort of idiot-proof, good beginner plant, right? If you want to look like you know what you're doing, you want to grow a lot and look the part, right? These ones always perform well. So I'm just going to load this bed up with these, because why the heck not, right? I think this one's got a bit too much here. I got plenty more on the bed. What I tend to do with stuff like this is I put them in a cardboard box at the end of the driveway, and I write a little description saying what they are, and I tell the neighbors they're free. And then they usually disappear fast, right? Because everybody likes free stuff. I thought, since I'm doing this, I might as well talk a little bit about the column I started writing on Substack, and why some of the articles are pay only and some aren't, that sort of thing. Really, it takes time to write that sort of thing, right? It takes time to write them. And so any one of those articles may be anywhere from 2 to 5 to 6 6 hours or more can go into writing it. It really depends on what it's about, how much research I have to do, and just how much I have to think about what I'm trying to say. But some of them will always be free. My plan is to, every solstice, basically, have a free one. Solstice and the equinox. Every solstice and every equinox, there'll be a free article. Okay, and my understanding is that the software that Substack uses, it lets you watch some for free anyway. It gives you like a sample, a taste, right? So anytime you go on there, I think it'll let you read a bit, and then it'll just time you out after X amount of viewing, right? So I don't think it's you can still read some of the content even if you're not paying. It's only $30 a year, that sort of thing. I'm going to pump out an article a week. That's my goal for this year. Every Tuesday is the idea. Every Tuesday, new article. I find Tuesday is sort of an ideal time because if I have a relaxed pace on the weekend, that's easy. But if I have a busy weekend, I still have Monday night, early Tuesday morning sort of thing. So every Tuesday morning, I plan to have something for you to read. Something you know, with some pictures, with some thought related to gardening. The content, generally speaking, is just expanding on the things I discuss in these videos. But because I'm not speaking, I mean, in the videos I try to do everything spontaneously and just, you know, I'll come up with a general idea what I'm going to talk about, but I don't have a script. I don't really, you know, it's not super premeditated. And I like it that way. I like it to just be sort of natural, like almost like you're here with me, like you're a neighbor, like you're a friend, and you're just hanging out while I'm gardening and I'm telling you stuff. Telling you stuff I think you want to know, right? As opposed to telling you stuff and boring you to pieces. I had a little bit left over there. Anyway, with the Substack articles, you know, I can put more thought, more contemplation into the content, right? So it's a more thoughtful, more meticulous, more reasoned out process. I'm sort of anticipating all the different angles and just producing a better quality sort of product. Also, the other reason I'm doing it is to get me in the routine of writing, so that I can somehow finish that book I started in 2017 that I've never quite finished. Anyway, so I got that all done. Just gonna throw some mulch on there, and I think we got her. Let me see if I can find some mulch here somewhere. Bin here, some old seaweed type stuff. This should do just fine. This bed already had some of these growing in it, right, from last year. I think this bed was a kind of perennial, well, it was these things, bloody dock. There's lots of different names for that. Basically, it was a perennial green. Another plant that I ended up having way more than any normal person would ever need, would ever want, could ever make use of. Or at least a normal person, normal by my standard anyway. Maybe I'm not normal. You know, ever hear that quote? Normal is what you aren't and everybody else is. Anyway. For a second there, I thought I lost my microphone. That'd be a great thing to lose in the soil. Few $100s worth of microphone. Anyway, you can see I mean, it looks like I'm doing everything in a rush today, but I kind of always garden like this. Sometimes, today's a busy day. Basically, my wife is out of commission. She's not feeling well. So I'm doing all the transporting of children, play dates and all that stuff. Not a lot of time for being maritime gardening, the maritime gardening version of me. But I don't need a lot of time. No, I got lots of garden beds in this garden, a lot of things to do this spring. This is just one more thing I can knock off the list. I'll throw a bit of water on this, just a gallon jug's worth of water. And I don't have to do anything with this all year. The mulch should suppress the weeds. If mulch starts thinning out, I'll just add more. These will grow, these will adapt, these will be fine. And whenever I need some nice scallions for whatever I'm doing, I'll have an abundant source right here. So yeah, just a couple points on Egyptian walking onions. I think a bed about this size, 3 feet by 4 feet, 1 meter square, give or take, 3 feet by 3 feet, that sort of thing. Probably all you need. Going bigger than this, I think you're going to get into more of these than you know what to do with. And now I got all kinds of leftover ones I can share with my neighbors, and sort of, I love sharing and just giving things away. That's a wonderful feeling. So yeah, Egyptian walking onions, great thing to grow, just don't grow too much. Hope you found that interesting. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, and until next time, get out there, get at it, have fun in your garden. Thanks for watching.